Madi is not just an ordinary fisherman. Here in Mayotte, he is considered a fundi, or a master in the art of shark hunting. Since his childhood, he has cast lines out along the length of the Maourian reef to fish for these gods of the sea. The island of Mayotte is located halfway between the northwestern tip of Madagascar and the African coast. This small French territory is part of the Comoros archipelago and lies poised on one of the world's largest lagoons. Madi lives in Aqua, a small fisherman's village situated on the west coast of the island. Sudjail is a shark fisherman and sells dried fins. He regularly stocks up on fins at Madi's and then later resells them on the Malagasy market. But for Sudjail, Madi is not only a source of shark fins, he's also a mentor. Several years ago, Madi taught him his shark fishing secrets. Shark fins are to China what foie gras is to France, a subtle ingredient used in very refined gastronomy. The renowned shark fin soup is an important part of any traditional Chinese banquet. It's based on an ancient recipe prepared in the 17th century under the Qing dynasty. Sudjail buys a kilo of dried shark fins for about $10, which he can then resell for $18. On the Chinese market, at the end of the line, the same fins are sold for $400 per kilogram. He saves the shark fins for export because people in Mayotte won't eat them. Sudjail goes shark fishing in the Geyser Banks, more than 140 kilometers off the coast. Unlike Madi, who uses only a basic canoe with oars, Sudjail has a motorboat. It allows him to fish farther out in the sea for bigger sharks. He leaves regularly for 2 or 3 days at a time, accompanied by Bako and Musaina, both Comorian fishermen. With a compass, they locate the Geyser Banks, a place whose name comes from the geysers of foam formed by the waves breaking against its coral reef. Before casting, the bait needs to be well chosen. Sudjail uses the head of a tuna, while Madi uses eel. Mullet, calf's liver, and goat cheese are also commonly used as bait. In Geyser, fishermen catch tiger sharks, hammer sharks, or dagsit that can measure up to 4 meters in length and weigh up to several hundred kilos. Sudjail places his traps with a large buoy linked to an anchor. From the buoy extends a chain line with a steel hook the size of a hand. Shark fishing is more profitable than many other forms of fishing because everything that comes from the shark can be sold: jaw, skin, fins. This is how Sudjail provides for his wife and his 7 children. Usually sharks bite at night. Sudjail checks his lines every morning to bring up the catch. But today it's different. The movement of a buoy alerted him in the middle of the afternoon. After several years of experience and some record catches, Sudjail has won the respect of his peers, but his greatest ambition remains to become a Fundi himself, a master shark hunter. The fishing is particularly good today. A tiger shark of almost 3.5 meters that will sell for around $500. A hard-earned salary because you have to be both courageous and a bit crazy to leave for the geyser. Many fishermen have lost their lives to the strong winds and violent currents. The tiger shark is one of the most combative and robust sharks that exist. The fishermen undergo a veritable battle to catch one without risking their lives. The struggle often lasts several hours. Blood attracts other predators. It is common to see barracudas prowling near the banks on the lookout for fresh and bloody meat. The shark is so heavy that it is emptied into the sea before being hoisted on board. 3 men are not too many to haul some 100-odd kilos of shark on deck. Throughout the world, shark products are used for a variety of purposes. Shark meat is either eaten or used as fertilizer. Oils rich in vitamin A are extracted from the liver of sharks, and anticoagulants from their blood. In the United States, transplant surgery using shark eyes has worked well. Shark cartilage is used to treat burns. Their skin is tanned and used to make sturdy leather objects. The tiger shark is particularly voracious. It eats everything it encounters in a blind, bulimic frenzy. That's why it's not uncommon to find a hook trapped in the bottom of the shark's throat. Sudjail cuts off the precious fins, which he will later sell at a good price. The only fins suitable for sale are the dorsal and the pectoral fin. Unquestionably, Hong Kong remains the center for this type of commerce. More than 60 countries export shark fins to Hong Kong. By experience, Madi knows that good shark bait should be oily and bloody. He has a preference for eel that he regularly fishes out of the Sulu River near Aqua, a small paradise of a spot especially appreciated among the Maorians. Madi uses an ancient technique to chase shark, which his father taught him. In his youth, they checked lines and hooked bait alongside one another. A raft with oars and basic equipment is all one needs in order to fish in the lagoon. Madi regularly poses his lines alone. In place of an anchor, he uses a big rock that he throws overboard. He catches mainly white-spotted sharks from the reef and occasionally a tiger shark, but they are rare. Like many Maorians, Madi is very religious. Here, 99% of the population is Muslim. There isn't a village that doesn't have a mosque or a city where minarets don't dominate the roofs and the terraces. Madi faithfully attends the important prayer session on Fridays, a holy day where everyone dresses in his best clothing with a braided bonnet called a kofia. After the ritual ablutions, he prays in front of the imam with his face turned towards Mecca. The petrol lamp that accompanies Madi is used to attract fish. Like a lot of men in the village, he fishes at night using the palangrat method, a local technique. Mackerel constitute the basis of this self-sufficient fishing that allows him to feed his wife and his 14 children. Madi has set up a campground on the Msamburo Islet to the northwest of the coast. He'll stay there for a week, enough time to hunt shark and other kinds of fish, and then he'll bring them back to the village. Everything that is not eaten will either be sold or traded on the market. In the morning, he pulls up the lines that he cast the previous day. In general, he catches only white-spotted sharks no larger than 2 meters. Most often, he's content just to pull them, already dead, on board. The shark's respiratory system can only function when it is in motion. Once immobilized, it quickly dies of asphyxiation. An uncontested god, the shark remains the king of the abyssal zone. They've existed for almost 350 million years. In the year 492 BC, Herodotus told us of the first shark attack. Though Jonah was technically eaten by a giant whale, it might well have been a shark. Since the beginning of time, men have sought to protect themselves against the jaws of death. Hawaiians tattoo their ankles and pray to the gods to send them good sharks to chase away the bad ones. And the natives of the Solomon Islands worship sharks through sacrifices. After cutting up the sharks, Madi dries the pieces in the sun. It is a well-known and very effective conservation method among Mahorians. It keeps the meat from rotting. At night, fishermen from neighboring villages visit one another. Madi tells his friend about the day he caught the largest shark of his life, a 7-meter-long monster. That day, he was required to seek help in the village. Many fishermen came out with a big motor raft. The enormous shark fought fiercely, but they were finally able to get it on board. It was so heavy that they had to be towed into the village. The Indian Ocean waters are rich in flora and tropical underwater fauna. From the tiny clownfish to the imposing marine turtle, the diversity of forms and colors is vast. That's why it's not strange to find an unexpected catch at the end of a line, such as a leopard ray. Everything is either edible or saleable. Madi works several hours a day to make his living through fishing. Even so, he earns only a modest salary. Yet he is one of the rare fishermen with only one job. For a long time he was a tailor, but he had to stop because he didn't earn enough money. The large majority of Maorian fishermen have to work 2 jobs in order to live decently. Madi takes a bush taxi to sell sharks in the Mumuzu market at the other end of the island. It's the most common and least expensive form of transportation. These quaint canvas trucks are nicknamed freight taxis because the drivers often speed along so quickly that they forget about the turns and the potholes. Shark fins represent such an important financial potential, $400 per kilo at the end of the line, that some Malagasy shopkeepers don't hesitate to just take the plane and buy them directly in the Mumuzu market. The market is a very animated place where one sees Maorian women in their traditional masks, a simple beauty mask that protects them from the sun and helps prevent premature aging. It's a colored and rich local center where one finds all kinds of merchants. You can buy tropical fruits and vegetables, spices, baskets, meats, and fresh and dried fish. Madi sells the shark skin and its jaw for $2 per kilo. The fins are $10 for Malagasy customers. Sharks are not hunted all over the world. Natives of the Solomon Islands worship sharks. They believe that they are the reincarnation of their ancestors. One ancient legend even tells of a woman who once gave birth to a baby shark.